Welcome to Referred, an FER podcast. Today we have a premier partner of ours by the name of Barrett Adams. He is in the Vacaville, California market. We've been working with him since 2010. We've sent him about 150 pre-qualified buyers. He's put about 50 of them under contract and closed them. So we're excited to have Barrett here today. He's a real fun personality. He's a great guy. So take a listen and enjoy. As we start out, why don't you just tell us a little about yourself, maybe your coverage area, your service area, Barrett. The area that you cover. I know it's actually a pretty broad area, but,
I consider myself a professional real estate advisor. I've been doing this for 19 years now, since 2004. I try and focus on the Solano County, but I go up to Yolo and Sacramento. I even take some of my bets sometimes all the way up to Yuba City and Marysville because we can get better pricing and it's close to a military base and it's still only 30 minutes from Sacramento there. Awesome. I believe that real estate is the best way to acquire wealth, generational wealth. And I believe it's the only way you can do it without paying taxes if you do it right.
Yeah.
And so I'm always advising my clients. I think a lot of times, a lot of my clients come back to me afterwards and you told us no, and we didn't listen to you. We should have listened to you, but here's why you shouldn't buy this house. You should buy the other house because of this.
Some people.
It's an adventure.
Yeah,
I'm seventh generation Solano County resident. My family was here before the railroad.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
And the railroad came through and not 50 yards from where they were at the time.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
That's awesome. It's awesome that where you came from, where you're at, you know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously you have a ton of family there, but it's great that you know that. That's
you've been doing real estate for 19 years, you said. What was life before real estate? What did you do before you got into the business? And I'd like to ask everyone what prompted you to dive into real estate 19 years ago?
Ooh, can I guess before he says anything? Can I guess? I'm going to say Barrett was definitely entertaining. You did something, you wanted to go down that road. I could see you doing something entertaining people. I could see that somehow. Am I wrong?
That's not what I was doing. I had been at a big bank, one of the big box banks in the branch, selling checking accounts and equity loans and equity lines, and they got purchased. And the culture changed. Before it had been about relationships. And I really liked that. That's who I am. You develop a relationship and I was cross-selling, you get a product and your client comes in and say, hey, we should really move you into this because it's better for you because of this. And I really liked that. But when the new company came in, it was more about, I want new sales and it's not about customer service anymore. And, hey, I want to be able to cash this $5,000 check for my client. They've been with the bank for 20 years. They've got $50,000 in CDs.
Yeah.
We should cash this check. This is a good check to cash. No.
Wow.
Okay. The policies changed, the culture changed. And so I said, maybe this isn't a good fit for me. I got into real estate though, because after I got married, we bought a house. What do? You have a kid, you buy a house. And the realtor that helped us said, wow, Barrett, you'd be really good at this. I've been doing this forever. She'd been doing it forever. And she said, you've got the right personality for this. It's not about just closing the deal and getting the next sale. It's about the relationships. I don't want to sell you one house. I want to sell you 5. I want to be the person that you pick up the phone whenever you think of real estate. Take my call. I do birthday videos. I'm kind of quirky, right?
I get mine every year. I love it. I love it. You're the only person that does it. I love it.
I do birthday videos. Sometimes I'll play guitar for people, I send cards. I call people on the phone just to visit. I try to implement better systems, but I try and call people twice a year.
Touch
by the
goes
last
a long
names.
way.
It does.
Definitely does.
I send the magazines out and the emails, and it just helps.
Yeah. All the little stuff adds up, doesn't it?
It does. Even if I haven't talked to them, you know, I missed the call or they didn't answer because they're getting the magazine and the birthday videos. If I don't talk to them for 2 or 3 years, they get a call from me. They can pick it up and, oh my goodness, it's Barrett. How's it going?
And that's what makes you awesome, Barrett. I mean, I think you hold a record, and it's not official, but I do think you do hold a record with Freedom Eagle. And I wanted to mention this before Malone did, because sometimes he steals my questions. Just kidding. I think the last podcast I stole his, so that's why I'm saying that. But you do hold a record with, I think it was just over 7 years from the time we sent you a client to the time you closed them was 7. I think just over 7 or just under 7 years. And it is by far the longest client we've had that you serviced the whole time. You took care of them. Yep. They were excited.
By a couple years.
Yeah, like by a couple years. Like,
yep.
That's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about today, but you're obviously answering some of those questions as we're going. And it's just, how do you do it? I mean, how do you do it? What other advice can you give to some of these agents and people out there that are in service-based industries? How do you do it, man? Because you do it really well. And I tip my hat to you, man. It's pretty cool.
I'm not in sales. I'm in relationships. I believe in we are selling something. We're selling real estate, but I believe in the product. I believe that it is fantastic. I own several homes myself. I've bought and sold several. I flipped some. I have rentals. I believe that this is in the American dream. This is really what's best for you. Make use of that VA benefit. It is fantastic. It's the best one out there. I come in every day. I'm surrounded by great people in my office, and I feed off their energy, and they feed off of mine. But I come into the office every day just to send a few emails, send a few texts, make a few calls. And that's where it comes from. Sometimes I call you guys. Sometimes I call, Craig Pettit down in San Diego. Is he still with you guys down there?
Yep. Craig's still closing loans like a madman down there, doing a great job for Dave and Justin and those guys.
Yeah. And just an observation from the outside, Barrett, you always bring a positive attitude. And that goes a long way as well. It goes a long way with loan officers. It goes a long way with clients. Having that positive attitude, that optimistic outlook, it's refreshing. First of all, it's very refreshing. And I think it gives people, it kind of energizes people, right? Like we talk about the interaction between our Freedom Eagle agent and the client, and how that first interaction can go and how that can impact the transaction as a whole, right? And so, for example, we send you a client that's pre-approved for X amount, and maybe that's 10% below the market right now, right? And so you're going, this is going to be tough for us to find him a buyer. Now, an average agent would take that call. They go, hey, I'll put you on a drip and send you it, and then we'll see. But there's just really nothing in your market right now at that price point. So, we'll see what happens. But I really can't do much. Or they may even turn it down, right? And say, I'm not taking it because there's nothing they can buy. A good agent like yourself takes that client and they tell them, and they still try to get them excited about the home buying process. They still try to get them excited, like, hey, I can send you what's on there, and then I'm going to make sure that we're sending you everything that hits the market the second it hits, so that you know what's coming in and you have first chance to get, to take a look at the property, write an offer if it meets your needs, But there's just two totally different approaches. The same conversation handled two different ways. And it's the difference between whether this person closes on a house 6, 12, 18 months down the road or drifts off into somebody else's hands.
The first conversation is really important, and managing people's expectations, getting face-to-face with them. When you guys pick the phone and call them before you hand them to me, Barrett's great. He's going to take care of you. Expect a call from Barrett. He's one of our best guys. That helps a lot. It's a real warm handoff.
Sure.
For me, getting the client, I call him right away, text him, hey, we need to sit down. We need to talk. Let's come into the office. We don't always have the ability to do it face-to-face, but it's best. But understanding not just what they want, but what they need. Because it's a huge difference sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw a thing the other day from an agent on that topic that was awesome. His friend of mine, And he said, very rarely can I find you 100% of what you want, but it's the rule of 85% that he uses. If I can find you 85%, even if you go build a house, you might not get to that 85%. I mean, Malone built a house a few years ago, and he still talks about, man, I wish I should have did this. I should have did that. It's just kind of, and so I think that's a very realistic expectation, is managing to the 85%. I might find the existing house that has everything but that. And is that the 15%? Is it more? What is it?
A lot of people, they see what's on TV and what they read in the news. And so they have this expectation walking in through the door, and it's helping them adjust that maybe this isn't your forever home. This is a stepping stone. You're paying yourself the rent. You're going to pay yourself the mortgage and pay it down, and then take your equity with you in 3 to 5 years and take your gain. And let the house grow with you, or you go with your family. Because how often, well, here in California, they say the average Californian moves every 3 to 5 years. Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, absolutely. And, just to think about, Barrett, that just brought up another topic in my head. I mean, which is fantastic. How many, and you said you like to sell them 3, 4, and 5 houses. How many of these clients, which is great, how many of these clients do you have you turned over to the next step of that next home ownership, right? Because some of them might got into that starter house, and then you get to turn them over, which is fantastic, to help them out of that house and into their next house or their next few houses. I'm sure you have,
a lot of them are, 2, 3, 4 houses, down the road. Last year I had 2 families where it was the 10th and 11th transaction within the family.
Wow.
And it's just, it's super exciting. Here's a gift for everybody. Let's all go out to dinner. Here's a bunch of Costco cards. Let's, we're moving up.
That's awesome.
No, that's, and that just is a testament to you. There's a lot of agents. Malone, I'm stealing this from him from a previous podcast, a stat. There's 3.3 million real estate agents throughout the country. I mean, people have a lot of choices. Sometimes, you really need to, see what you can get, because there's people like Barrett out there. There's Barrett. He, you're going to Northern California. You're going to, his area. What is it, Solano County? Barrett, he's the guy. I mean, that's who we call. We call
Air Force Base, Beale. They're all close by.
Especially for like a first-time home buyer that's coming into the business, and you've got a bunch of different people that are offering you their services, and you don't know who to work with. You don't know who's good. You know who's actually experienced, because everybody's website looks awesome. And you're going, what direction do I go? That's where it's fun for us to come in and go, hey, we've got Barrett. This guy is awesome. We've sent 142 buyers Barrett's way, and he's done an incredible job with all of them. Right. That's something that we could also cover is your numbers, which is that we've sent you 142 clients. You've closed 41. You've got plenty of people active. And your first referral goes back to December 13th of 2010.
It's been a little while.
And I'll throw this in. You closed it about 39 days later. So pretty good.
It's a lot of that goes back to the lender too, and being able to communicate with the lender and managing our own expectations for communication. How are we going to help this client get to the finish line? Here's what I need out here. What can you do for me back there? What do you need from me? I'd done a few VA transactions back then. I was only 6 years into the business, into the trade, but you guys were VA specialists. And now I walk into a home, I tell my clients, hey, you're looking at the house very differently. Can I live here? Can I see my furniture here? I'm looking at it. Can I get this financed into the finish line with a VA loan? Right. What hiccup am I going to see? And I take a lot of that back to the Craig Days and the Craig Pettits and the Mears and everybody over there, and the whole team.
Yeah, and then kind of educating you along the process as you're going. You know what I mean? And I know I've learned a lot. I have learned a ton. We actually, do a training process to kind of help the loan officers see what the broker and agent sees on the other side too. You know what I mean? So they don't walk into this seeing nothing, and not having an expectation also. So sometimes it's we try to set the right expectation we can too with the loan officer and doing these trainings and saying, this is what the agent's going to see. This is what they're looking at. Here's the hurdles they're jumping, and it's just a few. We know it's a few. It's not all of them, but it's just a couple that maybe they can see in advance and help you out too, on that side. So,
and the marketplace is always shifting too. It's always shifting. So
yeah,
staying in touch with the lenders is everything. Staying as a three-way conversation.
Yep, that's what I was going to say. It's equally important for the lender to stay in touch with agents and that are in the markets and actually know what's going on and how things are changing and how how contracts are being written. It's extremely valuable to a lender to know that they can get closing costs paid in a certain market, right? Because over the last 6-8 months, we've watched this shift to where no one was paying closing costs for anything to where now we're actually seeing some of these CDs come through and they're getting their closing costs paid for. They're getting some closing costs paid for. That's information that is, it's invaluable to a lender, right? When they're trying to get somebody pre-qualified.
I took one of my buyers a couple of months through a new home build. We couldn't find the house they wanted outside, so we went through a new home build. And as we're driving through and we're walking through these different houses, I observed, the market's shifting, right? Yeah. No one else is out here looking at homes. These guys have a section of land under development. There's a lot, and they've got all the roads in and all the sewer and the septic and power, and they're not selling houses. Oh my goodness. So my clients like the house. What can we do? I said, hit them where it hurts. They need to keep their people moving. They need to keep these houses turning over so the staff is there and contractors keep working. The people are still swinging the hammers. We went into contract $102,000 below list and got $18,000 in closing costs.
Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
That's a good negotiation right there on your part, Barrett.
It was just being observant of the conditions at the time, the market conditions that week, that day.
Yeah.
They've got tracts of vacant land. They need to sell. They need to keep these things moving.
Yep.
How is stuff moving out there? Is it moving still? Is it what? We hear all kinds of stuff, but your boots are on the ground. What's going on?
Give us the 2023 market outlook by Barrett.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
I think that we're going to be in a competitive market again here very shortly. We still have a shortage of inventory here in Vacaville. I had the forms out. We had 105 homes on the MLS on Thursday, according to CAR. Wow. That's really nothing. Homes over the last year, the median in December, they were selling for 99% of list price. They're staying on the market longer, 50 days. But there's still, you can get a little bit of closing costs. If the house has been on the market 2 months, the sellers will give a little bit. They're reducing their prices before they go into contract.
Gotcha.
They're not bidding way, listing and asking way up here.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but you're still seeing demand is what you're saying. You're still seeing demand. They're still turning over. Like you said, a 50-day turnover is not bad at all. That's still quick. That's still.
It really isn't. 45 days in a equitable market. If you had the house on the market, it should take 45 days to get into contract. Mm-hmm. If you priced it right.
Sure.
And that when the houses are going on the market, they're gone in 3 days, you get $50,000 over list. That's unhealthy. That's scary.
Yeah, agreed.
I fear that we're moving back towards that direction. Just here in California, because government has and their policies have made it difficult to build. Builders haven't built out, and they're still way behind the need. This might be different in 15 years from now, but today, I think interest rates are going to come down here in the coming months as the government tries to adjust. They're ramping up to combat inflation. That's my perspective. I think we're going to be back down into the 4s. We can already buy loans down into the low 5s,
right,
very easily, and into the high 4s. So,
and that'll definitely getting into the high 4s would definitely spur some buyer. I don't know if you want to say aggression or action, but buyers are definitely going to that's going to make people feel like, they can. Yeah, as the rates keep coming down, you can definitely afford a lot more house. So it
And
makes
if
it.
you can get $20,000 in closing costs from your seller,
Yeah.
you can buy down the rate some more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we actually heard that from another agent we talked to on the East Coast the other day, that she was doing the same thing, buying down the rate for the client, letting them afford a little bit more home.
Mhm.
It seems to be pretty popular. No, absolutely, Barrett. I like it. I like the prediction. I hope it happens in your area to modest growth. Now, again, not a crazy growth, because that's, again, not good. I agree with Barrett. I don't think any of us want to see that. But yeah, the other thing we missed out on, Barrett, is your guitar playing. Maybe to strum a little bit of guitar for us. Show these clients and agents and loan officers that you can play a little guitar.
What do you guys like? Do you like Tom Petty? Do you like Colin Hay?
I like some Tom Petty.
We used to do Free Fallin', but it was pretty square the way we were doing it. And then I heard someone else do it, and it was really nifty. But he did it with three guitars. So how do I pull this off with one guitar, one voice? He was doing it three guitars,
Yeah, that's tough.
Well, if we want to save it for the end, Mo, I don't know if you have any more questions for Barrett.
Whatever you want to do. Of course I've got more questions for Barrett.
Yeah, then maybe
fire away.
Yeah, let's fire away. Let's save it for the end. We can sit there and chill with you at the guitar. I like it.
BS.
Yeah.
We'll talk baseball at the end while I play guitar.
Ooh,
there you go. What would you say is one thing or the most important factor in or a part of a transaction or a process that a loan officer can do that increases the likelihood of a successful transaction or creates a happy situation for the buyers? What's that one thing that is the difference maker, if you could put your finger on one?
Don't make promises to the buyer about the market before you talk to the realtor. Talk to the realtor. Say, hey, we can do this. What can you do with that? And then staying in touch. Understanding what you have available and maybe being flexible in what you can offer your clients. Just because we want to do this one product doesn't mean that maybe that's what we end up doing. We find the right location in the right house. Maybe we have to pivot a little bit, and understanding enough where the money's coming from and what money products you have that you can pivot with us and help us get to the finish line.
I like it. That's a great answer. Another one I got for you is what would you say is the best lesson you've learned in your 19 years of real estate?
Best lesson I've learned. It's I wasn't prepared for that one. I'm always learning new stuff. And I learned a lesson. Have you guys heard the camel story?
I don't know.
No.
Not everybody values everything the same way. Not everything has the same value to everyone. I was living in Madrid back in 98, 99. 99, 2000. It was at the end of the last century. And I was an exchange student, and I was having a great time. And some of my friends said, hey, we heard you went to Africa, a couple months before. Take us to Africa. We're all exchange students. And I said, sure, why not? I'm here to have fun, right? So dropped everything, myself and three 19-year-old University of California students. We hopped on a train. We got down to southern Spain. 4 hours later, we're crossing the Straits of Gibraltar. The rocks in the background. We step off the boat into Tangiers. And I figure it's like the old movie Casablanca is kind of set on the city of Tangiers. But it's the foot of the Pillars of Hercules. It's the edge of the desert. It's December, but it's still dusty and dirty, open sewers, cobblestone streets. We walk through customs, no big deal. I've been here before. I'm in my mid-20s. I'm an American. I'm, 6 foot tall. I'm huge. I'm big. I'm full of confidence. I walk through, all these guys have their hands out. They want to be my guide for the day. I said, no, guys, I've been here before. I know the Medina. I know the marketplace. I don't need a guide. We're going to go to Marrakesh. We're going to ride the Marrakesh Express. You guys missed it too. Okay, just there's a generation gap here. Okay.
Okay.
I got these 3 girls in tow, and we make a beeline for the train station. We get our tickets. We got 4 hours to kill. What are we going to do? We're going to go shopping, I guess. So we go to the marketplace. We go in and out of these shops, and in this culture, it's big. Negotiating against everything. If you don't negotiate, they're offended. But we go in and out of these shops, and all of a sudden, the girls are starting to act weird. What the heck's going on? So I pay attention. There's these 2 guys that have been following us, and they, I'm listening. So I start paying attention, listen to the comments. Some of it's a little bit English, Spanish, Arabic. Some of it's vulgar. It's more and more hostile. And the girls are getting nervous. Their eyes are getting big, and they're getting quiet. We walk into this open courtyard, probably the size of a garage, maybe a little bigger, 600 square feet. And these 2 men step between me and the girls, put their backs to the girls, and right in my face and said, "We want to buy the women.
What?
We'll pay you 300 camels for the women." The girls are horrified. I realize at this point that I've made a mistake, perhaps a series of mistakes. Oh my God, what happens when I say no to these guys?
Yeah.
These guys are going to knife me, and they're going to take the girls. The last time I was here, someone pulled a knife on me, and I just walked away from him. I'm 6 foot, and 200 pounds. No, 44-inch shoulders, 28-inch waist. No one's going to mess with me. I had another guy with me. Here I've got 3 women with me. I'm in a bad position.
Yeah.
And I can take the girls. What happens if I say yes? He's just going to knife me. They're going to take the girls.
Yep.
My God, what do I do? Oh, I didn't tell anybody that I was leaving Madrid, that I was leaving Spain. All these, you had the movies and the glass shatters and these moments, realizations.
Wow.
All of a sudden, boom, my little blue passport does not mean I'm a first-class citizen here. At best, I'm a second-class citizen. I'm an infidel.
Yeah.
I'm not in the Western world anymore. I'm in a different part of the world, different cultures, different expectations. Flash again, the glass. Girls aren't even second-class citizens. They're not even third-class citizens. In this part of the world, the women are chattel. They are property, pure and simple. Oh my God, all these expectations that we had walking in, liberal entitled California, right? It doesn't fly here.
Yep.
My mind is racing. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I say? Deep breath. Guys, what am I going to do with 300 camels? I don't have a use for camels. And even if I did, I can't take them into Spain or into America. I don't have a use for camels. Now, if we're talking gold or American dollars, we can talk. The girls are horrified. Their jaws drop. They realize he's negotiating. Oh my God, this is terrible. My life is over. The guys laughed. They pulled out a pack of smokes. I had my first cigarette with these 2 guys, and then they walked away and left us alone. The girls wouldn't talk to me the rest of the day. We were there for a week, but there were some important lessons there that I learned. Some, just that I apply to life, and some of that I apply to real estate. The privileges and liberties we enjoy here in the United States are not shared around the rest of the world. Our values, they don't share them. I expected the culture shock when I went abroad. I was not prepared for the culture shock of coming home.
Wow.
And the different way of looking at it. In real estate, buyers and sellers, different clients, each have different needs and different values, what they value at that time. The guys who wanted to buy, that I was interacting with in Morocco, they had camels. They valued camels. I didn't value camels. I valued gold and dollars, right?
Sure.
In real estate, sometimes sellers want the big number. They have to have the ego of the highest sales price. Sometimes, how much do they walk away with? Sometimes it has very little to do with money, and it's about time. Can you give them, how quickly can you close? Can you close in 14 days? How about a rent back? They want to stay there for 60 days after close of escrow. And can you make it a 60-day escrow plus the 60 so that they can finish their school year?
Sure.
And communicating with the other agents and understanding what the needs are of all the parties can help us reach a successful close of escrow, because different people value different things.
No, that's great.
That is great. That's good advice. You
I know it's a crazy story, but I lived it.
Yeah, I love it.
It sounds a crazy story. I'll tell you what. I'm just sitting here thinking in my mind, I don't even know. I mean, thinking about all the things that you just said,
I think I get stabbed.
yeah, I'd probably be
I was
stabbed
horrified. Yeah.
for sure.
What do you do?
That's what I'm just sitting here thinking. What do? Run? You can't run. I mean, yeah, you just went through all the things. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about that one for a minute, Barrett. That one kind of set me back for a second. It's definitely something to think about. You always have something you call me up with to something to think about. Even yesterday when we spoke, you had a situation. I walked in Malone's office. I said, "Listen to this one Barrett's got," and it still has us both stumped. But we'll talk about.
I still haven't resolved it yet. Buyer canceled on us. My seller offered to loan, carry the whole note.
Wow.
But an unwarrantable HOA.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We've reached out to the entity that owns the 79% of them.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't called back yet or emailed back. So we'll go to their legal department next.
Wow.
Just an interesting situation there, with it. And I mean, we don't have to get into it or anything, but just, it's just you're a professional problem solver. And we talked about that yesterday. Just Barrett in the way he approaches problems and solves them and handles them. You're in good hands with Barrett. Definitely good hands. So
no question there. I think one last thing I want to say, is there any insight you'd like to share with us or any topics you want to discuss before we hear your musical talents?
New topics. I just want to continue the relationship. It's all about relationships. And I want to leave, that as an important matter for all of us, that it's about the relationships.
Totally.
I couldn't agree more.
That's what's gotten us to where we are today. We say it all the time, but having great relationships with realtors like yourself across the country is what makes us successful. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here. We couldn't walk into lenders' doors and offer them the value that we offer them with our network of agents and the software that we've built. Without that network of agents, it's a two-part process, and we're always trying to do our part by making our processes as efficient as possible. But, it all comes down to what you guys kind of, close it all out by doing a great job and taking good care of the buyers and communicating and buying into the processes that we have created on our side.
It's a team. I'm like on the front line. I may be the quarterback, but I need the title company. I need the receiver. I need you guys to help put everybody together and coordinate some of it. Inspectors and everything. My son, COVID started. He was going to college, and I got another story here. He couldn't go to college. It was all virtual, and the teachers weren't engaged. And he said, "I can't do this. I'm out." He'd been working. I put him on a roofing crew when he was 17, and he finished high school working at the nursery, so he was outdoors a lot. But COVID hit, and school was virtual. He went out and joined the Army.
Wow. Yeah.
It's okay. What'd you score on your ASVAB? 93. Well, you still didn't beat the old man. What job are they offering you? If they don't offer you something with a good trade on the back end, don't sign. I want to jump out of airplanes. I want to be a combat medic.
Oh boy.
He said, "They won't give it to me. They're only offering me nursing. And it's a 6-year contract." I said, "Sign it. Sign it now. Don't think about it twice. Sign it now." They a year and a half of training, and he's living in Hawaii, stationed out in Honolulu at Tripler. He got married without telling me.
Typical kids, Barrett.
He married another nurse, but before he got married, while he was still in training, just a year in, an opportunity came my way up in Marysville, and so he and I pooled some resources, and we bought his first investment home together. He and I.
Awesome.
So I find out he's married. My wife calls me and blows up my text, and she's angry with me. "Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me?" He got married. Who got married? I don't know. I'm the last one to know on these things. So I call him up and I said, "Hey, how you doing? What's going on?"
Yeah.
So congratulations. I'm so very happy for you. I wish you both the best. And then the next thing out of my mouth is, so when you guys get deployed to your next duty station, you're buying a duplex, right? With your VA. And he said, no, Dad, I'm not buying a duplex. I'm buying a fourplex. That's my boy.
There you go. Apple didn't fall too far from the tree. Not at all.
Got to share with you guys, right? Share the good stories too.
Oh, absolutely.
Always.
Absolutely. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. What baseball stories do you want to hear, Barrett? What do you want to hear? Barrett and I have talked about baseball, and we've Barrett got the opportunity to talk to all of us that played baseball here, Jared Fernandez, Mick Mailer, and myself, and got the opportunity to chat with all of us. And his son played baseball, if I remember right. Barrett, you called me a few times. Is this the nurse, the one that's in?
This is the nurse. Yeah, he's a nurse now. Yeah,
stud. You'd call me and I was like, hey, buy this bat, try this bat, do this thing, And Barrett was always, yeah, I'll buy it, I'll give it a try. Yeah, So
as long as he was loving it, as long as he was loving the game, I was there to support as much as I could.
Well, we're trying to make this. We're trying to figure out the timing of it, but what we want to do is try to make a game in San Diego too, whether we make it part of the summit or not. So if we do make a game, Barrett, plan an extra day, and
absolutely.
And we'll go down and Petco's always friendly. I went down there last year when Pujols was at $5.99, and it was amazing. Petco, the fans down there are amazing. The stadium's amazing. I don't know. I just can't say enough about it. It's one of my favorite ballparks.
I'm biased because I'm a Padres fan, but I think Petco Park is the best experience in sports. I legitimately do. I've been to a lot of different sports stadiums, a lot of different games, football, basketball, baseball, hockey, and I think Petco's it, man. I love it. I think that
Barrett's a Giants fan. We're killing him here. We're just killing him. I know.
I go to a lot of A's games and I buy a lot of season tickets for the A's.
Okay.
Because it's only an hour to get to the stadium and an hour to get home, and I get great seats, really cheap. I can go anytime I want.
Yeah.
The Giants, I made 3 or 4 games last year. A buddy of mine has season tickets that are just to the first base side of home plate on the lower level and just under the shade. So they're good seats.
Yeah.
But sorry, I forgot. I'm sorry. A's fan. I don't want to separate the two.
No. I'm good for both. I'm a baseball fan.
So yeah, my first game was baseball game ever was an Oakland game. The 89 ALCS, I think it was 89 ALCS playoffs when the A's were playing the Blue Jays. I got to see Tony La Russa manage from the bleachers, which was awesome. Went with my uncle and my grandpa. It was awesome. I think we went to 2 games or 3 games. And funny enough, Tony was my first manager with the Cardinals in the major leagues, and an awesome guy, just truly a great guy. He very punctual guy, knows what he wants, and it was awesome. It was awesome to play for him there too. So it was cool. It's kind of a full circle deal for me.
I took a lot of my nephews and my cousins' kids when I had some really good years, and I had all the boys were still, early teens, preteen, and I'd take them to things like musical theater, and I'd take them to the baseball games. Hey, some of them had never been to a game.
Yeah.
I said, hey, they're sitting there watching the game. I've got 5 or 6, boys with me. Hey, we want to go explore. Sure, here's $20. Go in pairs. Check in with me every half hour. Go have a blast. And we were doing that twice a year. We'd go to a theater, musical theater, and then we'd go to a game. It was great. I made him make a promise to me. The first time we went to a theater, we went to a fancy restaurant, and it's a matinee. So I said, where would you like to go to lunch? McDonald's. I said, no, we're not going to McDonald's, boys. Think, a little bit higher upscale, a little bit. Round Table. I said, no, we're not going to Round Table. We're going to, we're in downtown Sacramento at the Wells Fargo Pavilion. The boys couldn't think of anything. So we went to the old spaghetti factory, and they had 3-course, lunch, and the waiter really got into it, and the boys were really having a great time. And I said, okay, boys, Uncle Barry needs you to make a promise to him. You know, Uncle Barry's going to get old one day. I'm not going to be able to do all these things for you. I need you guys to take care of me. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I need you to make a promise. Raise your right hand. I need all of you to promise. We promise, we promise. When Uncle Barry gets old, you can't just stick him in an old folks home and forget about him. Uncle Barry needs pretty nurses. Pretty Every event we would go to after that, you remember your promise to Uncle Barry. You remember your promise.
That's too good.
Just for a few baseball games, Barrett, you got it locked in. I don't blame you, man.
Right.
I don't blame you. Doing it the right way, teaching those kids the right way.
Yeah, smart.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, Barrett. And yeah,
Always. Yeah.
I mean, I don't really have anything else for you. And I just appreciate the longstanding friendship that we've had since, like I said, 2010. You know, we get a deal in your area. We're excited to get it because we're excited to call you, you know, and say, hey, man, Barrett, you know, we got somebody, you know what I mean? So it's awesome. It's been a good relationship for years and years. Been a lot of fun.
And we look
Absolutely.
forward to doing this again with you as well. You know, we didn't want this to be a one-time thing with partners like yourself. We want to do this more often, you know, so kind of come together every so often and touch base, see how things are going, get a little bit of market outlook from you, and
I'll tell more stories.
Hear more great stories. You know, that's exactly what we're looking for.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Well, thanks again, Barrett. I appreciate it.
Is he going to play us a tune before we?
I don't know, Barrett, you want to play us a quick tune before you get off, or we want to save it for next time? Tune.
Quick tune.
I love it.
Yep.
She's a good girl. Loves a woman of Jesus and a cloud too. She's a good girl. Loves horses and her boyfriend too. Long day living in Reseda. There's a freeway into the yard. Bad. If I don't even measure, I'm a bad boy for breaking her heart, and I'm free. Yeah, I'm free. You guys didn't want to hear 5 minutes of this? Have a good one.
Great job, Barrett. That was fantastic.
That really was. I don't have a lick of musical talent in my body.
I don't either. That skipped me. That skipped me for some reason. I don't know why. That sounded fantastic.
We all have our gifts.
Yeah. Mine's not music, so it's nice to see other people's when it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's awesome, man.
Well, awesome, Barrett. We appreciate it. Thanks so much for coming on with us. And yeah, we'll be in touch soon, hopefully with another good referral for you. And we'll go.
I'll see you in April for sure. If I don't talk to you before then, I'll see you in April.
We will see you in April, my friend. Take care, Barrett. Have an awesome day.
Thanks, Barrett.
You too. Bye-bye.